All right, let's get started. Hello, everybody. I hope you're doing well. If you are here live with me, definitely say hi in the chat, which because of the tech issues I'm having, I can't actually see the Facebook chat, but I think it'll show up on Zoom if you say hi. So please still say hi. If I don't respond, I'll come back after I'm done with this live and say hi to you. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Cassandra, and you can see Cody in the background. Cody, say hi. This is my German Shepherd, Cody. I am the owner and founder of Revive and Thrive Women. And I'm really excited to be here today. I'm really excited to share some celebration with you all. I come on to the Revive and Thrive Facebook community group every single week to do little mini trainings. And typically what I'll do is I'll answer questions that have been asked of me in the community. I get a lot of questions on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and so I compile all of those questions, and then once a week I come on and answer those questions. And today I'm going to be answering some of the questions that you all have sent me, but I'm also going to be coming on to celebrate today because today, March 21st, 2023, marks the 1-year mark of when I left my corporate job. So March 21st, 2022, I was handing in my computer. I was logging off from my corporate career, which I spent years building, and I was embarking on a journey, and I was so shit scared at the time and wondering, like, am I doing the right thing? And now it's been a year, which is so wild to even think about. And it's been amazing. So I wanted to talk today a little bit about that and just celebrate because it's a huge milestone in the business. And also just send a ton of gratitude to all of you ladies who come onto this Facebook group and chat and lean in and ask for support and motivate and celebrate. And this community has really become something that is so special to me, and it continues to grow week after week after week. And it makes me so happy to see all of us supporting each other in living a life that we're really happy to wake up for. And so I wanted to first, before I dive into anything, just say thank you so much. Thank you for being here with me the entire journey. Many of you have been following me for years and have seen where I have come from. Sorry, there was like a noise in my house. Just want to make sure everything's good, but it's just my cat. I've got my dog, my cat's running around. It's honestly a zoo in my house 24/7. And I have a 21-month-old daughter who's not here right now, but it's wild. So first, thank you so much. Thank you for, again, all the support that you have given to me and to Revive and Thrive Women. I'm so, so, so grateful for each and every one of you. And I really, really enjoy getting to know you. So if you're here on this group new, there's quite a few new followers of the Revive and Thrive Facebook group. And I'm so happy that you're here. And please just know that you can lean in and ask questions at any time. I love hearing what you're experiencing in your day-to-day, and it helps me to be a better service provider and create things that will help you. So I always invite everybody who's new to this group to answer the new member questions. Let me know what you're experiencing when it comes to your career and stressors and where you want to go. So please take a moment to do that and lean in here for support. This is a free resource for you to use. And of the women who have been doing that, they're getting really great results, and it's a great way to build community. So story time. Again, as I mentioned today, the 21st of March, 1 year ago was the day that I was turning in my computer and saying goodbye to a career that I spent so many years building. And for those of you who don't know my background, I was in corporate sales for almost 10 years. And when I left my corporate career, I was a vice president of operations at the company that I started with and grew. I started there in 2016 as a caller. So I was calling about 200 people a day to make appointments for our CEO. It was such a grind. And then from there, I continued to grow and climb the corporate ladder, which is what I had my sights set on doing when I entered this particular role. There was just 3 of us at the time. So I continued to grow with the company, became the director of operations, and then VP of operations, and was the VP for many years before I retired on the 21st of March last year to start my own business. And, I was thinking back this morning as I was walking my dog, one of the non-negotiable morning routine items I have is a walk outside. My daughter wakes up pretty early, so I have to get out there when it's still dark and cold. And today was rainy, but it's so good for my mental health. So I just do it regardless of the weather. And today I was out there walking and it started to rain. And I was cold and I had my beanie on and my jacket. And I was just taking a moment to like really allow the gratitude to settle in of the decisions that I made that have led me to this point in my life right now. And it was not easy. It was a scary decision to make. Leaving your corporate secure job, I put in parentheses secure because, I think a lot of us are seeing right now, especially if you're in the tech sector, or in the Bay Area, that what we have thought as secure, it sometimes is an illusion. You can be laid off at any second with an email. So it's really, quotation marks secure. But at the time, I was leaving what I thought was the secure, stable, high paying salary job to embark on this journey of starting my own company. And I had never done that before. So that was pretty scary. And so I shared today on my Instagram some of the things that I've learned along the way, and I'm going to continue to share this. When I left my job the 21st of March, I gave myself 5 days of rest. And then I started my company on the 26th with a launch of the Burnout to Breakthrough program, which is one of the programs that I run. It's a 6-month program for women who are really looking to up-level their career and do so without burnout. And so I left the corporate job, and literally 5 days later, I started my program that I had launched. So it was a whirlwind of time and things. And I did it that way very intentionally. I live, as I've mentioned, in the Bay Area. It's one of the most expensive places in California. And when I sat down with my husband and went over this plan to leave corporate, we had to come up with like numbers, right? There was still a house payment, there's a mortgage, there's, things that we have to pay for. And so I didn't really have the flexibility to take off like a certain amount of months and not produce income. It was like, you need to have this amount of income coming in right away, or like, we're going to have to figure some things out. And this is one of the things I shared in my post. And, that financial pressure was definitely pressure. And it was also one of the things that I think has really led to my success. I hit the ground running as soon as I left corporate. And I planned a lot before I left my job. I did a lot of work before I left. I had a plan, I had a mentor, I invested in a business mentor before I made a single dollar in my business, because I wanted to make sure that I had structure and a plan and all the things that I could planned out. And then of course, life brings you the curveballs, which it did. So I think what I want to share about today, because I've been getting a lot of questions around challenges. I've had a lot of community members lean in and share with me that they're going through really challenging times right now. I also just got off of my own business mentorship call this morning, and the theme was really big life stuff is happening with everybody in that community. One of the members has recently lost a family member. One of the members just found out her hubby is sick. One of the there's just things going on. And I have shared with some of you, I'm going through my own really big challenges right now, supporting a good friend whose 3-month-old baby is in the hospital in a medically induced coma. And that's an incredibly tragic and heartbreaking thing to be in. So what I wanted to talk about today is, how do you continue to move through life when these big challenges come your way? And how do you continue to grow as an individual? And how do you continue to achieve what you want to achieve in your career and at home and all the things? Because sometimes when we have these really big challenges happen, we freeze because it's a shock to our nervous system. And I think that that's an appropriate response. And I think what we get to play around with is, how long do we want to stay in that stuck response? And it's something that I've definitely practiced over and over and over in this last year, because there have been really challenging life things that have happened. I think I had a thought before I left corporate that the world would just slow down when I started my business. Like I was just going to get a breather so that I could figure things out. And there were so many moments in the first year where I was like looking up, like, come on, like, just give me a break. Like, I just need to figure out how to run a business. I can't deal with like all the life things that are happening with my toddler and my family and like the things, and like, that's just not realistic. Like, we are always going to have challenges happen in our life. And sometimes those challenges are the really big ones. And it reminds me of a podcast I was listening to. This is a little off topic, but I liked the way that they spoke about challenges or traumas. And it's like, we all have the big T traumas and the little T traumas in our life. Some of the little T traumas are the traumas that we're experiencing throughout the day. We have a traumatic work experience. We have a uncomfortable conversation that brings something up. And then we have the big T traumas. We have family members who die. We have people who get sick. We have friends who get in car accidents. Like, these things happen. So again, like, how do you continue to move through life when these big and small challenges occur, sometimes all at the same time? And if you're watching this live and you're here and this is resonating, let me know in the chat. Let me know if you feel like this year has been a challenging one, because at least from where I'm standing, I feel like every single person who I'm connected to is going through some really big shit right now. And we all just went through 2 years of some really intense stuff, some really hard challenges. So I think everybody can relate to what I'm speaking of, right? So I want to give some insight into my mindset around challenges and how I've been able to move through these bigger challenges that have come my way in a way that sharpens me, in a way that leads to growth, and in a way that has been really impactful in my business and in my personal life. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you to push through and sweep it under the rug and give you a lot of the advice that I see out there, because I don't believe in that. I think that leads to a lot of complications and a lot of problems down the line. So I'm going to sit here and tell you to feel it all, which is scary. And I'm going to give you some practices that you can use starting right away if you are somebody who's going through a big T trauma, big challenge, or even a smaller challenge, right? So let me see. I'm getting so frustrated with this tech situation because I want to be able to see you all. So let me just see if I can figure this out really quickly. And if not, if you are here and you can chat something, that would be awesome. So let me see really quickly. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to do this. So I'm just going to keep going and hopefully, oh, wait, here we go. Oh, I did it. Oh, hi, Ashton. Oh my God, I'm so happy you're here. I can see you all. Okay, let's go. Oh my gosh, that was so difficult. I'm not going to go into what was going on my screen, but it was frustrating. So I can see you all now, and I'm so happy that you're here. So what I want to share with you is some of the mindset shifts that I have had when these challenges come up in my life. And I know a lot of you are leaders in the space that you're in. Ashton, I know you're a VP in corporate. There's a lot of people who are in leadership roles that are running teams and running programs and things at their job. So, as a leader, we have to really pay attention to how we're showing up when challenges come our way, because we have more challenges that are typically coming our way, especially with work. So one of the things that I continue to ask myself when I am coming into a challenge is, what do I want to tell people about this challenge? Like, what do I want the story to be? Who do I want to show up as today? That's a great question to write down. Who do I want to show up as in this moment? And if you can have the intention around you deciding to show up in a certain way, you're going to feel in more control of that situation. When we have these really intense things happen, we often feel like the rug is pulled out from underneath and all control is lost, especially if these challenges are incredibly traumatic, especially if there's a lot of grief wrapped up in them. I'm going through a process right now where I'm witnessing something that is the most heartbreaking thing I've ever witnessed in my entire life. And so I've been practicing asking myself this question. Every time I pull up and park my car to enter into the hospital, I'm asking myself, who do I want to show up as right now? Who do I want to show up as in support of my friends? Who do I want to show up as a leader? And this question, this one practice of asking this question has really changed the game for me in this situation and in others. There have been a million challenges that I have come up against in my business in the first year. I've had programs launched that didn't have anybody sign up. I've had clients who paid in full and then wanted a refund. And like, these things happen when you run a business, and you have to ask yourself, who do you want to show up as? So your challenges might look different. My challenges looked different when I was in corporate. I had angry clients who wanted a meeting that day. I had team members who wanted to quit on the spot. I had, all of these things. And so I've been in practice with this type of mindset for many years. And again, this one question of like, who do I want to show up as in this moment is so important. So this is the first thing that I would invite you into asking yourself when you have these challenges occur. And in order to be able to ask yourself, you have to be aware of what's happening in the moments, right? Because sometimes we have challenges that happen, our stress levels go up and all awareness is gone. We're just right into fight or flight. We're right into survival mode. We're just simply surviving. So we don't have a lot of discernment around the actions that we take. And that's okay. That happens. It's happened to me a million times. And the magic is in the space where you can actually take a moment to pause and then decide how you want to show up to this moment. So this is kind of the first part that I wanted to share, because it's just one question, right? It's just one question that you can ask yourself. And I hope that's helpful. The second thing that I wanted to share is another question that I ask myself when I'm going through challenges, little challenges, big challenges, all of the challenges. And this is something that I have asked myself a lot, especially in this first year of entrepreneurship. Because again, like there's a million challenges that have come up that I would have never known were part of this journey, because I never started my own business before. I had seen other entrepreneurs. I had, a little bit heard of their challenges, but mostly what I see on social media is a lot of celebration around the wins, which I'm all for. I really feel that we should be celebrating our wins. I love seeing posts from women who are running their own business, making lots of money, helping lots of people. Like, that is inspiring to me. And we don't see a lot of the challenges that they went through to get to that point. So I have an intention of sharing more of the challenges that I have gone through this past year, so that everybody can see, right? You see the success, and then you see the levels in which I had to like break through in order to get there. So the second thing that I want to share with you is another question that you can ask. And this question is, how can I leverage this challenge and learn from it? How can I leverage this challenge and learn from it? Because we don't often look at our challenges as learning opportunities, and they are some of the greatest learning opportunities that we have. Sometimes the challenges, again, are so big that we go into a state of fight or flight, we go into survival mode, and we can't really even think to ask these questions. And there have been moments that I've had in my life like that, where then I can look back and say, wow, that was a big learning lesson for me. I learned all of these things, right? So if you're going through challenges in your workday, ask yourself, how is this challenge here to support me? How can I leverage this experience to grow? This is, again, a reframe, right? This is a mindset reframe, and your mindset is the lens in which you're viewing the world. So if you can take off the glasses of victimhood and put on the glasses of how can I leverage this challenge, you're going to feel a lot more powerful, and you're going to learn a lot more. And so I'll give you some examples in the past year of some of the challenges I've had that I've had to learn from. And I named a few earlier. And I was sharing this with my group that I am in. I'm in a business mentorship group, and we have meetings every week. And I was sharing with some of the other women in that container this morning that some of the things that have happened that were super challenging, I really learned from them. I had a product that I offered 6 months ago, 7 months ago, maybe some of you remember this, called Emergency Toolkit course. And the idea behind it was that I was going to create a mini course full of tools for women to use when they were stressed out. And I thought it was a brilliant idea. I was like, this is going to be great. Like, they're going to have access to all of these things. And when they're stressed out in the moment, they can just like take out their phone, pull out the meditation, or take out their computer and pull up the breathwork exercise, or take out this and look at a training. And like, this is going to be great. And I marketed that product for months and nobody bought it. And at the time that was a challenge for me. I was like, wow, like where am I missing the mark? But I learned so much from that. I learned that it wasn't really something that women wanted in the way that I was packaging it, right? It wasn't really something. And I learned that if I really wanted to know what to create, I needed to connect with my community, and I needed to do that often. I needed to reach out to people. I needed to have conversations around what they're experiencing, what are their struggles, what do they need? And then I took all that information and I built things, and then I had success and people joined. So it was a huge learning lesson for me, right? As a business owner, sometimes we think we have these great ideas and then we go to create them and package them and put them out into the market and nobody buys because it wasn't needed, or it wasn't needed in that way. But if we can, put our ego aside and go into our communities and ask all the questions and tap in, then we get information that leads to producing things that are meaningful. So that was an example of, like, at the time, it was a challenge. I was like, wow, nobody likes my stuff. Like, I'm going to fail in my business. I'm going to have to go back to corporate, like all the stories. But I had to ask myself, what can I learn from this? What can I learn from this experience? And that's what I learned. I learned to tap into my communities and have conversations with the women like you and see what's needed, not what I think is needed. So this is just an example that I have. I'm sure that you have examples as well. But the second thing I'm going to offer for you today is really to ask yourself, how can you leverage the challenge that you are in, and how can it sharpen you instead of taking you down? If I would have allowed that challenge to take me down, I would never have made it to this point. I would have been back in the 9-to-5 world, and who knows what that would have looked like. So these are the two things that I have to share with you. And I want to talk about something else as well. And now I might be frozen. So hopefully I am still here. So the other thing that I want to talk about is, what do you do if you can't even get to the point where you can make those decisions in a challenge? Because a lot of times we have a challenge happen and we go right into fight or flight, we go right into survival mode, and there isn't the moment of clarity to make an informed decision, right? We're just right into the stress. And that happens a lot. It happens a lot, especially with really big challenges. Like I talked about, the really big T traumas. A lot of times when the rug is pulled out from underneath us and we have things that are so hard, we collapse. And typically that is out of alignment with what we want, because we want to be a person who can support our family or our friends or ourselves in these big challenges, but we just don't have the tools. We were never taught. And so we go into a collapse, and that can last for some time. So what I want to talk about a little bit is, like, if that's the case, then the thing to do is to start strengthening your resiliency through your body. Start learning the tools that you can apply in the moment that the big thing happens, so that you can get through it. And I have a program that's called Resilient Woman that just opened. That's a 6-week training where I'm going to teach you how to do exactly this. So there are different things that you can do within your body that will bring you into a state of calm within seconds. If you don't know how to do those things, and if you don't have the awareness or the practice or the accountability, many of us know how to breathe, but many of us do not use our breath to downregulate our nervous system. If anything, many of us are using our breath to actually create more anxiety, and we don't even know it. Because something stressful happens and we start to shorten our breath and we start to quicken the pace that we're breathing, and we breathe from the neck up, and then all of a sudden our anxiety goes up, stress goes up, everything goes up. And like, we are no longer in a place where we get to make a decision about how we lead through the challenge, because we are just in fight or flight. So what I teach in this 6-week course is not only all of these body-based tools that you can use and apply to get yourself into a state of grounded, no matter what, even when the big T challenges are happening, you're still able to take a moment, just like when I'm showing up this week and parking my car and taking a moment to pause and asking myself before I step into the hospital, who do I want to be in this moment? I'm also taking a moment to regulate my nervous system. I'm taking deep breaths. I'm placing my hands on my heart. I'm prepping myself to go into that challenge so that I can be in that room as a person who is bringing calm to the space instead of a person who is anxious and uncomfortable and doesn't know how to handle the moment, right? So this Resilient Woman program that I'm going to be teaching is going to be starting at the end of this month. And right now we are in the week of early bird pricing, which means that it's over $300 off to enroll. On Friday, that it will be the last day. Saturday, the price will go up. So if what I've been talking about today, as far as being somebody who can be sharpened by your challenges rather than being taken down, is something that you know you want to start working on, then I would love to be the one to teach you. As I've mentioned, like, this is my life's work. The last year, I've had so many challenges that I've really had to apply all of my tools. And prior to that, when I worked in the corporate space, I also led resiliency training for my team. Now, this resiliency training looks different because I saw a lot of gaps in corporate when I was leading these trainings. A lot of the resiliency and leadership trainings that are out there for executive level leadership companies are very grindy. It's very like push through, anything you can do to get through the challenge, rise above. And there isn't a lot of heart in those teachings. And I think that leads to a lot of misalignment, especially for women. So what I'm going to be teaching in this program is a lot of heart-based tools. And what I mean by that is, how can you connect to your body in the moments that challenges arise so that you take care of yourself first, and then you rise up to the occasion. You don't just push through the feelings. You don't just push through the things. You don't block your heart. You don't, all the things like we've heard, right? When it comes to like level up, push through, sweep it under the rug and just get through it. It's like, that doesn't really work. That often leads to a lot of shit under the rug, and that comes back. I have a lot of clients that have mentioned that metaphor of like, they look under the rug and they're like, oh my gosh, like there's all the things that I tried to sweep under and not look at. And like all the programs I do, we're uncovering that, we're healing it, and we're moving forward. So this is all I'm going to talk. This is all I'm going to say today about this, but I will be on here later this week to give more information. And I will put a link to register for Resilient Woman. And if you have any questions at all, if there's any interest level, please just reach out to me and let me know, and we can chat. And I'm also offering free connection calls for those of you who want to learn more about it before enrolling. That's totally fine. So all that to say, thank you all for being here amongst all the tech problems that I was having in the beginning. Thank you for supporting Revive and Thrive Women. I am so excited to see where this goes. The things that I've seen happen in the first year alone are incredible. I never thought that I would be here 1 year later, supporting over 20 women, generating over $90,000 in revenue. I've really turned a lot of the beliefs that I held around starting a new business on their head. A lot of times we think there's going to be like years before you make any money, and it's going to be super hard in the beginning, and you're going to be working 50 hours, 60 hours, 70 hours a week just to get things going. And like, that's just not the case. I will say that all the training that I had leading up to this moment of when I left corporate definitely paid off, because I learned how to regulate my nervous system. I learned how to create calm in my body. All of the challenges that came up in my business, I didn't stay stuck in those challenges like many people do. So I was able to grow very fast. And that is possible for you too, if you're looking to have success in your career and you know that an up level in your career is also going to be an up level in challenges and you're a little scared. Get into Resilient Woman and learn, because you will save so much time and so much money, to be fair. So I loved being here today. Ashton, if you're still here, so nice to see you. And let me know if you watch this on replay. You can put #replay. I would love to hear that you were here, and I will see you all again this week. Okay, bye-bye.